Hey, welcome back. Have you ever had one of those days where everything just goes wrong? You spill your coffee, you miss your train, maybe you get caught in the rain without an umbrella. We've all been there. But what if your bad day culminated in something so statistically impossible, so bizarrely cruel, that it defies every law of probability? What if you died twice? I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Unexplained Archive. Today, we're pulling a case file that isn't about ancient ghosts or government conspiracies. It's about a single, ordinary man and a single, extraordinary afternoon in Los Angeles. This is the story of Thomas Lynn Bradford, and the day the universe seemed to target him with a precision that feels personal. Our story begins on a perfectly clear California day in September of 1985. Thomas Bradford was a 29-year-old gas line worker, just finishing up a job in the Wilshire district. He was up on a scaffold, about 3 stories high. Witnesses said he was securing a line when he lost his balance. He fell backwards, tumbling through the air, and landed directly on the roof of a parked car. The impact was horrific. Paramedics rushed to the scene, but it was immediately clear his injuries were catastrophic. They pronounced Thomas Lynn Bradford dead at the scene. His body was covered, the area was cordoned off, and the grim process of investigation began. The medical examiner's van arrived to transport the deceased. As they were preparing to move the body, a freak accident occurred. A tow truck, responding to clear the damaged car, lost control. It swerved, jumped the curb, and slammed into the very medical examiner's van where Bradford's body lay. The impact was violent, and when investigators rushed to the van, they found something that made no sense. Thomas Bradford's body had been thrown from the gurney, but the new, fatal injury wasn't from the crash. The official cause of death? A broken neck. The medical examiner would later state that the neck injury was inconsistent with the initial fall from the scaffold. This injury was fresh. It was caused by the second impact. In other words, Thomas Bradford's first fall put him in a state that was indistinguishable from death. But it was the second, wildly improbable accident that actually killed him. He fell, was declared dead, and then fell again. Now, let's just sit with the mechanics of that for a moment. The odds. Think of all the variables that had to align perfectly for this to happen. The precise timing of his initial fall, the specific positioning of that parked car, the arrival of the exact tow truck that would malfunction, its trajectory toward the one vehicle that mattered, the force needed to inflict that specific injury. This isn't just a one-in-a-million tragedy. This is a cascade of failures so precise it feels engineered. In my work as an engineer, we talk about failure modes. We analyze systems to see how things can go wrong, and we build in redundancies to prevent catastrophe. But what we see here is a systemic collapse with a kind of dark elegance. Every safety check, every piece of random chance, failed in sequence, with one man at the absolute center. It's as if the universe had a quota for Thomas Bradford that day, and it wasn't going to be satisfied with just one attempt. Which leads us to the haunting question at the core of this case. Was Thomas Bradford ever really alive after that first fall? The official medical opinion suggests he was in a state of profound shock, a deep coma that mimicked death so completely it fooled experienced paramedics. His vital signs were undetectable. To every tool and trained eye on the scene, he was gone. So, in a very real, clinical sense, he was dead. But if a spark of life remained, some faint thread of consciousness holding on in the darkness, then what must that have been like? To have survived that terrible plunge, only to be loaded into a van, and then to have the final moment come from a completely different, random direction? It's a chilling thought that turns this from a freak accident into a profound mystery of human experience. I find myself thinking about this a lot, especially living in a city like New York. We navigate a world of random chance every day. A scaffolding passes overhead, a taxi swerves, a piece of ice falls from a rooftop. We trust in the statistics of chaos, that the universe is indifferent and that bad things, when they happen, are singular events. But Thomas Bradford's story challenges that. It presents a world where chaos seems to focus, where indifference curdles into something that looks almost like intent. As a storyteller and a rationalist, I wrestle with this. My engineering mind wants to deconstruct the timeline, to label each event as a discrete, improbable failure. But the human in me, the part that grew up in Bangladesh hearing tales of fate and kismet, can't help but see a pattern. Not a pattern with meaning, perhaps, but a pattern of intensity. A vortex of misfortune. So what do we do with a story like this? We can't solve it. There's no ghost to banish, no code to crack. The mystery of Thomas Lynn Bradford isn't about what happened. The facts are tragically clear. The mystery is about the how. How does reality arrange itself in such a cruelly perfect sequence? This case sits in our archive not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a monument to the sheer, unsettling potential for improbability that exists in our everyday world. It reminds us that the line between a bad day and an impossible one is terrifyingly thin. It's a story that has stayed with me because it strips away the supernatural and finds the inexplicable in the mechanical, in the concrete facts of a Los Angeles street. It tells us that sometimes, the most profound mysteries aren't found in haunted forests or cryptic texts. They are written in police reports and medical examiners' notes. They are hidden in plain sight, in the blinding sun of a September afternoon, waiting for a single, devastating sequence to unfold. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Unexplained Archive. If this story lingered with you, if it made you look at your own run of bad luck a little differently, I'd be so grateful if you'd share it with someone. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to never miss a story from the archives. This is Ibnul J. Farabi for Light Knot Studios. Remember, you can find more of our work and delve deeper into the archives at lightknotstudios.com. Until next time, stay curious and maybe watch your step.